Hello, Wormians, and my name is your Lord, and welcome to our new server. The new server is called Nymri Isles, and it opens up April 1st. No, it's not an April Fool's joke. That's just the day we chose to open it up. Again, Nymri Isles. It'll be found on your Steam server list. It will be public, at least until um, it gets slammed with players, and we have to shut it down because there's thousands of players on it. Actually, it's limited to 200, but anyway, we're billing this server as a hardcore survival server, meaning that everything's set to the difficult settings. We've got a couple of mods in there that are making things interesting, and it's not for the faint of heart. It's um, it's for those people that really like to jump in and survive on their own. There's not going to be any starting towns or anything built up by a GM. Everything will be built by the players. There's a couple of things that were done by the GM at the beginning, but once it opens up, there will be nothing changed. No tiles will be changed, no items will be created. There will be no running around and causing havoc for players or, you know, intervening when players, do something silly or stupid. And yeah, it's going to be made for you players, you players that like the hardcore survival aspects of the game. Currently, it's running 1.8, but we will be updating it to Wurm Unlimited 1.9 once that releases out of beta. We don't want to put it in before it's out of beta. The map is huge. It's 8,192 tiles square. There are hundreds of tiny little islands and a large serpentine continent that snakes around the map, kind of like an S. Like I said before, there's no starting towns, and all starting locations are random. So you just get plopped down somewhere, and you're at the mercy of the worm gods to determine what's around you. You still get your newbie buffs, and you still get your starting equipment, but there's a setting on the server for newbie friendly, which means that you don't spawn in around any difficult creatures. That is not set. So if you're spawning next to a troll, you better run for the water. If you spawn in next to a grizzly bear, well, you might be in trouble because they can swim. It's a freedom server. There are no kingdoms. Skills are set at one. Skill XP is set to 1 times. Action timer is set to 1 times. The rock shards per cave tile is set to 51. So there'll be between 51 and 60 rock shards per tile. PvP is on. So if you run into anybody on a map this size, that'll be rare for a while, but when you do run into people, trust them at your own risk. They might be friendly, they might be hostile. So it's up to you. Crops are set for 1 worm week per crop growth tick. That's 21 real hours. There are 5 growth ticks, so that's a little over 4 days for crops to grow. So that's a little more realistic and a little more in line with what we're going for. There are no god altars. There's no altar of the three. There's no black altar. But there are a set of books for each deity hidden around the map somewhere. Not saying how many books for each deity. There are different numbers for each deity, and they're hidden quite well. And it will be quite a while before a set of books are found. But once a set of are found, if any particular character possesses in their inventory all of the books of a particular god series, and you'll know, the first book will tell you how many's in the volume, how many's in the series, and actually each book will tell you, one of X, or 5 of X, or 2 of X, or whatever. Any character that possesses all the books in a series in their inventory can then request from the GM to be made a follower of that god. They don't have to, it's purely a request. And where they go from there, they can then give the books out to somebody else and they can become a follower, or they can convert people, or they can be a priest, or whatever they want to do. We've got several mods running on the server, all server-based mods. If there's the standard fix mods that fix some of the things that are broken, and there's one mod in particular we have running called the survival mod, which means that it's cold in the winter and in the early spring and late fall, and your character will get cold and eventually will take damage and could die from the exposure. So if you're start getting cold, get near a fire, a heat source, campfire, a forge, smelter, um, a fireplace, an oven, whatever, and you'll warm up. Best thing to do for clothing is to wear like leather armor and a wool cap. That's the best thing we found for clothing. Also, crops do not grow when it's cold. Crops typically grow only in the summertime. So if you want to know when summer is, hit your F6 key, and that'll show you the date. And then go to the Wurmpedia, type in calendar in the search bar, and it'll bring up a calendar for you to look. Again, the server is going to be opening live to the public on April 1st, and we're looking for a few adventurous people to come and try it out. And I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you in Nymri Isles. Thank you.